Scribble notes when I wrote these quotes. If I offend, pardon me, there's more of me to grow.
Hello, I am super excited to be back again. It's been a while since I posted a single episode where it's just me, but I had something that really inspired me to like talk and say, hey, I feel like we need to talk about this. And that's the topic of today's video, which is how do you deal with criticism? How do you take criticism as a creative, as an author, as a writer, as a podcaster? How do you as an individual say, I'm going to be criticized? Because if you put yourself out there into the world, there's going to be people who have opinions, and ultimately you're going to have to deal with those opinions. So this is kind of my steps, how I kind of handle criticism, and what I think works for or what works for me might work for you. So let's jump in. So first and foremost, let's make sure that we like and subscribe to this channel. This channel is always growing. I am super hyped I even have anyone watching these videos, but definitely subscribe if you have the chance and like this video because it really helps the algorithm. Boom. Let's jump in. So my first tip is learning that not everyone is trying to hurt you. So one of the things I had to learn really early on was when someone gives you criticism, if they give you feedback, if they're saying like, hey, you're doing this wrong, it's not always coming from a bad place. A lot of times we can find ourselves thinking that people are trying to put us down or someone's like calling us out for some reason and they don't want the best for us. And a lot of times we're wrong. So recognize that up front, that people might be suggesting things or saying you should tweak something because they really do care about you. So it's not always coming from a bad place. And if you start to think of criticism, you think of critique as coming from a good place, it'll really help you kind of reshape what it means and how you interpret the information someone gives you in the long term. The next thing I'd like to say, right, is that it's okay not to be perfect. So one of the easiest ways to struggle with criticism is the fact that a lot of us really think like we're perfectionists. We want to do something right. And when someone says you're doing something wrong or that you could be doing something better, it really challenges us to be like, no, like that means that I suck. That means I'm terrible. And in reality, you're just not perfect. And it's okay to not be perfect. Approaching the world as if you have to be perfect at every endeavor is a really, really destructive way to create your own like reality. You're basically telling yourself that if you're not perfect, then you're not worthy, and that's just not true. So criticism, in its sense, like really impacts people who think that they're perfect more than anyone else. So understand that, like you go in, I'm not perfect. Like I don't do episodes of YouTube the way everyone else might do it. And I might not be doing it the perfect way. So if someone gives me some feedback, I can't be mad at the feedback. Like I'm not a perfect human, so I'm always learning. So any feedback someone gives you can be something that helps you in the long term. So don't think about yourself as being perfect. Think about yourself as being human. Think of feedback as a means of growth. So think of any criticism that you receive as a way to get further. So what happened to me when I was really young, I started to hate when people would say, hey Jamil, you could be better at this, or you could probably do a better job. I was like, why? Like I'm trying my best. And soon after, someone had told me, they were like, all these people who criticize what you're doing, they criticize your game. I played football for a long time. They criticize your behavior. Um, Sometimes they're helping you get better because they're pointing out holes or flaws that you didn't see. So they're saying, hey, like when I write, someone like talked about how sometimes my prose weren't as strong. And it's like, oh, I didn't realize that because I thought I was writing perfectly fine prose. You don't know until someone says something. So remember that there's always opportunities to receive feedback, and that feedback's ability, it allows you the ability to grow. It allows you the ability to open up yourself to other ideas and other thoughts that you might not be aware of. And it goes back to the other point, like you're human and you can't be perfect at everything. And the more eyes and more people who are trying to help you, just the better off you are. The next piece of advice I have about criticism is to reflect. If reflect on why you're upset with the criticism you're receiving. A lot of times I've noticed in my experience that people get mad at criticism because of something internal with themselves. They feel like this piece of their identity is being attacked, or this part of them is being dragged through the mud. That's not usually the case. Usually it's the fact that someone's like offering up some new idea that you didn't think of that might actually be a really good one. So a lot of criticism and a lot of the fear of criticism comes from some sort of insecurity. So reflect inside and reflect and think about why you're upset about someone's feedback, or why you're upset about someone adding and bringing more value to you. A lot of times it's ego. Ego plays a major role in how we interpret criticism. A lot of times, if you're someone who thinks you're doing everything so well, like I'm one of those people, I always think I'm doing great. So someone tells me something, and I had to learn that people giving me advice wasn't a bad thing necessarily. It wasn't them coming after me. It was them trying to help me grow and continue to grow. And those are the things that you have to just be aware of. Like, reflect on who you are, know where your flaws are, and you'll recognize how you're interpreting criticism, and you'll be better at receiving it too. The last piece of advice is don't take criticism personally, even if it feels like it. One of the best pieces of advice that you can get is really just to not take things so personally. Not everything's an attack on you. And one of the things that I do in like my general work life is like talk to people about, sometimes we're attacking ideas or thoughts. Sometimes it's how do we make this product better? And yeah, you are the creator of the product, but we're not attacking you, we're attacking the product. We're talking about what ways can we improve it, not what ways can we improve you. And we have to kind of remove ourselves from the attachment that we have to the things in the work that we do. And it's important because that's the time when we can truly grow and learn and get better, is if we're trying to improve our product. As an author, you're told so many things from so many different readers and so many different critics that it can become overwhelming as a writer to get so much feedback. And you can feel like they're attacking me. They disagree with what I value or my style or my thoughts. And in reality, they don't disagree with your style, your thought. They disagree with the story, how it was told. And maybe you will have to adjust your storytelling so that it fits the audience that you're trying to reach better. And that's fine. And it's not an attack on you. It's not saying you're a terrible writer or a terrible author, because there is feedback like that. And there is criticism like that, right? You're bad. You suck, blah blah blah. And I'd almost say that that's not feedback. That's just people hating. And that's a very different situation than getting real criticism, real feedback, real critique that makes you better and that improves your craft. So recognize the difference between those two things and know that not everything's a personal attack, even if it might feel like it. Me telling you, hey, I want to see deeper world building in your story. Or, hey, I like that one song you wrote. I didn't like this other song for whatever reason. It's not me saying you suck at music. It's me saying that there was something about this song that didn't resonate with me. And for you to be able to go back, take that information, reflect, and say, why didn't that resonate with them? Why didn't that resonate with the audience nearly as much as something else I did? And how can I recreate what does resonate more? And recognizing those things can really lead you to some real success. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you took something away from this. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.